Welcome. If you are someone, whatever you do, as long as you are you, I want to talk to you. Today I will be talking to James Rink from United States of America. He will be talking about stuff like Project MKUltra, aliens, human clonings, and time travel. So, here we go. Hi, James.
Hello, Sonny. Thank you for inviting me to. What is this like a show per se, or is it going to go on YouTube or?
Yeah, it's gonna go on
What's this?
YouTube, and this is the start of a
Okay.
new project for me that I will have different people that basically do whatever really that will talk about their life. And the point is that with the show is that I will have a different opinion of different lives to live, you know. So I think you're a good start for this because you have a very special life, right?
It appears that's the case.
Yeah, you didn't really choose that life.
Yeah, that also seems to be the case as well. Although I think when you say choose, I mean how it, there might have been some choice in the process, but I think the vast majority of the case, at least recently, probably not as much as I would have liked. But anyway, but yeah. So as far as why I'm here, it's because I am a super soldier. Before somebody starts to laugh and say, "Well, wait a minute, what does that mean?" Um, there are different types of super soldiers. I mean, you have the classic, army grunt that you think of that has been given steroids or maybe nano injections
Yeah,
to
you don't look
enhance their.
so you don't look like a bodybuilder though. That's what I think about if I think super soldier like a bodybuilder with gun.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't even know how to even where to even start in all this. So you're gonna have to kind of guide me. But
Yeah, we can
oh,
we can back up a little to because when you were a child, uh, you were abducted, right? Is that true?
yeah, I do recall memories of that. It was recovered through regression techniques. Greys were involved, but of course the Greys have been really busy abducting a lot of people. Um, there have been other experiences as well that's in my file that I don't recall, but the so-called file has been validated by multiple sources who do not know each other, who do not network with each other, so they would not have any reason to be leading me on into this wild goose chase.
Yeah.
So that's why I consider them valid sources. But basically, it appears that I was surrogated into my current family, meaning that my mom had a baby. It probably wasn't me. I say probably because I don't know exactly when it began. And then I was put in place of another person, another
So
child.
your mom and dad is not your real mom and dad.
That's what's in my file. And that is called Project Surrogate. Uh,
But is that what you live by? Is that your belief that it is so?
yeah, I feel like they're not my parents, but they did raise me and they did the best they could,
Yeah.
even though they were MK'd themselves.
But
Uh,
then I need to ask then what is their opinion about this?
oh, they think I bring shame to the family name, and whenever I go on trips or traveling abroad, or on
Or talking about it
flights,
like now?
either they say, "Oh, you're not going to be talking about that super soldier stuff again," and so of course I do. Oh, I through my other website, neologicaltech.com, I sell meditation tools. So a lot of times when I travel, I do a little bit of both of promoting a little bit of super soldier stuff and the meditation. So I can always have a good excuse wherever
Yeah.
I go,
Yeah.
whatever the excuse needs to be, usually.
But
But
what is
yes.
your recollection of being abducted when you were a kid? How young were you?
Well, the experiences that I recall as a child, I was about 12 when this happened. That I remember my mom had an interest in watching UFO alien type videos. And I think it was like an Unsolved Mysteries or these TV shows you see about Area 51 and aliens abducting people. And every time I watched The Greys, I would just get uh, panic attacks to the point where I would have issues sleeping. I would have to sleep under my bed. Now I don't recall consciously a gray showing up or any kind of entity in my room unless you consider the regression recall. But in that particular regression, I remember seeing a gray coming down into the window, pulling me out into the spaceship. Everything was really. I remember it seemed blue, very dark and blue, and all the walls would look like metal, but it was like sterile, meaning it was all smooth. Even the benches where we sat on, I was naked. And there were some other kids. We were all there, stripped down, and we're all like sitting there. It was almost as if like everyone was in a trance. They were just looking forward and in a semi-comatose state.
Was it others that had been abducted, you mean?
Yeah, and other kids. And they were probably getting a checkup. And the interesting thing is that some of these kids that I met on the spaceship are people that I know in my current life. We sort of found each other, maybe psychically. We bonded, and somehow found each other on the internet or were at other places as well. So yeah. But okay.
So the people that you met in the aliens spacecraft, you have met them on Earth, or maybe the spacecraft also was on Earth. I don't know what it was, but you're finally in. When you grow up, you have met them, the same people that you were abducted along with.
Right. And then, that's actually that is common though. Some people can find people like that. Even could be like you might go to a UFO meeting and somebody from the audience pops up and says, "I've seen you before. I've seen you on the spaceships." And they could come up right and talk to you, Sonny, and tell you, "Hey, I've seen you." But I'm not saying you've been abducted.
No, it's maybe. Okay.
But I don't know. I don't have access to that info.
But so, do you have the same experience when talking about it then? Do you remember the same things?
Oh, I don't know. It's been years since I last asked that person about that. Yeah, he has similar experiences, and I don't recall what he said, but it's been probably about 6 years since I last talked to that individual, and I've met so many people over the years. It's kind of hard to keep track of what this person or that person says, but I'm doing my best. So that's pretty much the extent of my memories as a boy. Most of my experiences began in my mid-20s. That's when I met an individual by the name of Nathan Wilder. He had some unique abilities. He had telekinesis. He could read auras. He says he could see visions. And like he said, he saw Lucifer one time when he was drunk. Lucifer appeared to him. Then he said he saw my aura. Well, he said my aura was green and gold, and he also saw like the visions of the seven horsemen of the apocalypse and visions like that. And so, but he also had a lot of rage issues and anger issues. One time he got in a fight with his buddy. It wasn't his friend. Somebody was making fun of his girlfriend or something like that. and he got angry and pushed him, and the guy flew across the room out the window. I'm thinking it might have been on a second story level, and he actually got kicked out of that school. So they had it when we were talking about this. He was in a process of being admitted to a new school, and he was telling me about some of his anger issues. So I was just starting to do some research on MK. Well, it began with aliens. I was doing some research on MPD. And during that time, I came across a story by Andy Perot, who claims that he was this super soldier that had super telekinetic abilities. He was taken to the University of Rochester, New York library, where he was programmed by what were known as Project Paperclip scientists. Basically, they're Nazis that were brought to the U.S. after World War II to continue.
That's the same like MKUltra, right?
I believe, yeah. There's probably people more qualified to talk about MKUltra, but from my knowledge of it, the Nazis were brought in and embedded into the CIA, and they created the MK. They expanded what was being done in the concentration camps by Josef Mengele. Twinning. He was doing twinning and psychic drone twinning, and also torturing these children to see if they can activate their psychic abilities. But so I suspected something like that might be going on with Nate. No, actually, I didn't. Not at first. I was just joking about it. Say, hey, Nate, well, maybe you're a super soldier. Maybe you have superhuman abilities like this Andy Perot. You should go read this story. It sounds because Nate liked to read a lot of books anyway. He says his IQ was he claimed his IQ was 165.
Yeah, it's kind of high.
Yeah, and something about it. I think he was actually accepted in Mensa or in the process of it at the time. But so he was. I suggested you go check this guy out, and at that point, that's when his alters started coming out. And so then I started doing research on alters and had to do a quick crash course on how to do deprogramming. Now I realize it wasn't really deprogramming; it's more like reprogramming, because you can't really deprogram some of this. You can only kind of just move things around.
Oh, yeah.
So I did my best to help him integrate what I thought was integration anyway. And the next thing he tells me is that he's in a white room. They're deleting all of his memories, and that he most likely won't see me. Wait, no, that came later on. And then his whole personality shifted. It's more like he became extremely angry, aggressive. He claimed that at that point he claimed that he activated my DNA and that I could do everything he could do. And then I started getting needle marks, and people started following me around. Apparently someone from Space Command came down to check me out.
But from when you were a kid, you had strange marks on your body, right?
I never noticed it until all the craziness happened. I probably did. The marks usually occur in my mouth. I can bring up screen share if you want to.
Yeah, do that.
See it. Okay.
But the thing with these stories you're telling is so far, it's very big, and you haven't told a lot yet. This is kind of just a small portion of what happened to you and what you know, right?
Oh yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah, but
so hopefully you can see my screen. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. But what I wanted to say that a normal person would go kind of crazy of the just a small thing you have said so far.
Yeah. This is the most recent ones. I think I counted like 2,000 pictures. So let's see if I can show you. Typically, I may wake up with something like this on here. What you see on my right, that is. That looks like a little blood blister. You wake up with a little cut mark. Well, actually, some of these are not when you wake up. They happen during the daytime. So I get like triangular shaped marks. That's not that's like triangular shaped needle marks. Little scratches. Let's see if I can find some better ones. See, maybe there's a triangle mark right there. So we got blood blister. I'm gonna try to find some. Now, obviously, I've not put the time in to come up with a stellar presentation here of all these needle marks.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, wake up with something like that, or actually not. It's not just wake up. Get a little 2-prong mark right there. Sometimes I get little cut marks behind my ear. Maybe it was an implant. Actually, I got a
kind of special though.
Yeah, I do have a lump in my earlobe. Right here. Got a lump, and it's not on this side. So it's just a lump right there. I could try showing it to you on camera, but it most likely would come up blurry, so there's no point even. Obviously, that's not my most flattering image.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, so we got there's 3 marks here, but I'm trying to find something that's definitely geometrical. I mean, you can kind of tell it's a triangle.
Yeah.
I've got some that are clearly triangles. Like little tiny needle marks there. This is back in 2012.
But if these show up during the day, either you just walk into stuff, or do you mean that you get abducted and then your memory get erased?
Yeah, I think what's going on here, you can see there's little needle marks here and a blood blister. I think they're stopping time, some kind of interdimensional time. It may not be a total stoppage of time. It may be time for me or time for them. Maybe like 1/1000th.
Do you mean that
slower? What?
Do you mean that they kind of stop time and walk right up to you and do experiments on you out or home, and then just put time back on?
Oh, it could be like I'm really not sure because I don't recall these what happens in these missing time episodes, but there may be a process of, say, one idea could be maybe they say a special code word and an alter that's programmed in me comes out. So then, so that way, I don't notice any missing time because no missing time goes by because the alter comes, and then they activate me, take me to the base. I go on a mission. They put me in a trip chair, upload memories. Then I go on a mission, do the mission, come back, take the memories out, put me back. Well, actually, they would, if I was gone for a couple of years, they may de-age me, or they just time travel me back moments to before they took me. That's one idea. The other idea is maybe it's some kind of psychosomatic, which means it's being induced by my own mind. Some of these could be, or it could be like a trauma that may have occurred in the past is resurfacing by an alter, or it could be nanites. One idea was like this blood blister that I showed you right here, and this quickly went down after about 30 minutes. It went down to about looking like that. Could be like nanites, little tiny nanobots, in my chopping away, doing things to me. But
for me, though, that I think that was special though behind the ear, that one, because it's very hard to take this as they really are needle marks that you can understand, I guess, because it's only look like you're bumping into stuff or you're biting yourself unwillingly, of course. But I'm not saying that's the case. But that's how it looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there was a time. See right here. There's blood splatter marks. You wake up. See if I can find them. The little blood's. It's a little bit here and there. Wake up with blood splatter marks in your clothes, or if I sleep with a t-shirt on, I take it off in the morning, and there's needle marks going down my spine, and there's blood marks all over my shirt. I think I might have a picture of that shirt somewhere on here. Or it could be a scoop mark. I've had a piece of flesh go missing from my ear. I've had flesh gone missing from my finger. And usually the scoop marks are to make clones. And I haven't even talked about the clones.
No.
Because that's what appears to have gone on. And I think I probably showed you enough images.
But do you think that you are cloned?
Yes.
I mean, there are others of you.
So this might be, let's see here. Maybe I can find it. This is my book. It's called Lone Wolf.
Yeah, I read it a bit.
Oh, here it goes. Okay, so this was from a remote viewing session. So I was just trying to figure out what's going on here. I fell asleep on my couch.
Oh, explain remote viewing.
It's a form of entanglement with the quantum energy field. A portion of your soul energy is able to teleport to another location and time to view what's going on there. When we remember stuff, we are doing a form of remote viewing because our brains process information. The actual memories are in our aura around us, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think the memories are in the brain, but that's not the case. If you get into a traumatic brain injury, or I guess it would be a portion of your brain was cut out, you still recall, just maybe less clarity because the brain, the neurons enough to process. So we all of us remote view to a certain degree. It's just some people can remote view further from our own memories out into the quantum field. How that's done, there's probably something going on with the activation of the etheric DNA. Some people have it, the others don't.
Can this so the remote viewing? You mean kind of that memory has passed on through cloning to you? Is that what you're saying?
You mean the memories of the clones are passed on to me?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Do you mean that you travel in time? That's more what you mean.
Well, it appears what's going on is that my consciousness projects into a clone body, a clone avatar. They actually call it Arbus and then later Cybus. Arbus came online, I think, in 98. Cybus is in 2000, and they might have something newer now. I don't know the difference between the two, but they are clone bodies. And my consciousness takes over them, and then those bodies are used as a super soldier. So my physical vessel just drives them. I don't actually do the missions in my physical vessel. Well, maybe. I say maybe because I don't know all the details about that. This takes us back to Project Surrogate because earlier I mentioned to you I was inserted in my family. What I didn't tell you is what was taking place before then. And now I'm jumping around here. Okay.
No, it's okay. Just jump around.
Okay.
It's no problem.
So one of the other names of the projects that I was allegedly involved in is called Project Name Recovery. And this is my website. I'm going to pull up my Gravatar, or Avatar. They call it Gravatar, but let me see here if it blows up. Okay, so here's a portion of it anyway. So I'm under, here's Project Surrogate and Name Recovery. These are the two main projects that came up now. I know there's others here, but
this is stuff you've been involved with.
Yeah, so I knew I was part of Project Name Recovery but I never quite understood what that meant. And what it means is that I had a different name before I was surrogated. My name was James Martin Rilsberg, allegedly. I was Delta 1, and I was Special Ops. And this would have been in the late 1970s when the Delta Force was created, initially, which is a part of the Army. It was created by the Carter administration to basically overturn the Shahs of Iran, and while the U.S. government was playing imperialism with other nations' sovereignty. So they needed an elite force to go in and do that. And it appears I was part of that organization in the late 70s. That's when I was a super soldier. So what they did is they de-aged me, it appears they de-aged me, put me into a new family, and then they're still using me through the avatars. So
may I ask, how old are you now?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. In my file, multiple times, because I would do these remote viewing sessions, not personally me, but when I work with others who are very talented, because I'm okay at it, but actually I'm not that great at it. I mean, I can get stuff, but it just takes a long time, and it's just easier to work with people who are better at it. So in these sessions, we try to find a computer somewhere. It could be on a spaceship or underground base or whatnot. We find a computer, put my name in there, and the projects come up, which you see here, and then my DOB, date of birth, comes up, and it's blacked out. And I mean, I already know what my date of birth is, so officially. So I was when I recently got in contact with Peter, who has access to he claims he's ACIO, Advanced Intelligence Contact Organization. He claims he can access the MyLab file. So he's been giving me some information. I asked him the same question. Well, how old am I? And he says, you were born in the time of Atlantis, off-world, and 10% of all humans in this part of the galaxy, well, I say this galaxy, live on planet Earth. The other 90% are in outer space or off-world, could be living on a spaceship or another planet, asteroid or whatnot. Sure. And these humans live 100 to 500 times longer. And then, of course, when you have de-aging technology come into play, they keep resetting my clock. So that's what it appears. I would have to be over 10,000 years old. I didn't even ask for a specific. I don't even know if they know. What's another 1,000 years? Yeah. So,
but then your the body you have now, how old is that one? Or from
when it was de-aged?
No, like this. From your parents' perspective, how old are you?
Well, my birth certificate says I'm 36.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's a bit different.
Yeah, I don't know if you were expecting that. I don't know what you were expecting.
I didn't expect. I don't expect anything, and I expect everything. So you can say whatever you have in your mind.
Okay, so we were doing a remote view, and now this jumps back to the other question about the clones.
Do that.
So we did a remote viewing session to see where these clones are, what it might look like. And so we found a facility. There was a okay, so they take a DNA, what you saw from the picture. They take a sample from my lip, a piece of flesh, and then so they take it to a room that was very cold. Along the wall were 500 cryogenic tubes lined up, and I guess there was soldiers inside of them. Each tube contained a frozen body. The compressor read -30 below. I'm assuming that's Celsius, or I really don't know. The tubes were mostly covered, but each contained a small window. And when she looked inside, they were clones of me. I don't know if all 500 tubes were all me, but evidently there was a bunch of them. I think she said, okay, so after she looked at about 8 to 10 tubes, with all in the same body of me, she freaked out.
Yeah, that sounds kind of crazy, yeah.
Okay, and she saw the words ML with a series of numbers 401 to 402. Not sure what ML stands for. I couldn't guess. Maybe my lab. I don't know. But that wouldn't make. Well, anyway. Okay, so that's just one example, and I there's a lot more other examples, but.
What would be the use of this usage of these clones?
Well, they send them into missions. They embed them with the military. I'm connected with the army still, I guess.
But it would be very, very wrong to have these clones on Earth, I guess, because if people found 5 that would raise questions. So these clones would be of another planets or something. That would be the most logical thing.
Or the other thing is maybe they send them on a mission, they drop dead. The mission fails, and then they need a clone body.
But wouldn't the people find you dead everywhere then?
Well, maybe, but they're not going to know the same person died. I mean, apparently I've been in Nazi Germany. They sent me back in time. I think I worked with a faction back then. It was similar to like the Thule or the Black Sun Society, a group of Nazis that were all into the esoteric stuff. And then from their perspective, they thought they were benevolent, and according to the information I gathered, they really weren't all that evil. They were trying to bring some positive, but they were highly technological or interested in a lot of technology. So I was working with them. I don't know any more details because I don't recall that personally. Although I do get flashes of images, but of certain missions, but not that particular one.
But how come you haven't gone crazy then?
Probably because they're using BST, blank slate technology. That's what it's called. I'll make sure I say that right. And it's where they erase your memories, and they have to keep. Some people have recall at a certain age. I believe the age is 30 years old. So, if they want to ensure that the recall doesn't happen, they have to continually get treatments and these trip seats with BST.
What is
has to be done daily.
Trip seats? Explain what's that?
Trip chairs, seats. Yeah. There's different types. They're basically a consciousness chair. Looks like a dentist chair.
Will it change your memory?
They can change memories around. Let's see. I can maybe pull up let's see. I bet you I got some drawings here I can show you. Let's see. Where are we? The pictures. In my labs. So I've had people do drawings over the years of trip chairs. Like there's one here. This one was I think Barry King. I think he drew that. He's in the UK. Obviously that's from a movie, but
totally recall. That's the Dream Machine.
Okay, and you know that movie was made, I guess, maybe in '93. So the trip seats were my file shows me the first date of chair. Let's see, where is it? Date of chair, 1988. I probably have the exact date written down when it began, but that they were starting to put me in the trip seats in '88. So so the technology already existed before this movie was filmed. So maybe this was based. That was part of a soft disclosure going on in the media. I mean Hollywood, but what's really going on? So dentist like chair like that. This is the memory that I had of a trip seat. They were looking at they were looking at my mouth, injecting me.
Injecting you with what?
I don't know. when I was viewing it, I wasn't able to see that angle.
Mm.
And I think it was a clone. I think I was remote viewing a clone of me, so I don't know if that was exactly. I'm making a lot of assumptions. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
And this is like
understand.
a hallway. I see myself walking down. Here, military generals are interrogating me, asking me what I know.
These remote viewings, they appear as a dream, if I understand them right.
Okay, so here we go. This is what I wanted you to see. This was drawn by Jody Hargreaves. He lives in Montreal, but he does these excellent images about my labs and underground bases. So, yeah, there's like a spot at the back of their head. If they're a clone, they have to get nano injections at the back of the head. But for us, in my physical vessel, I don't need the injections per se to get memories uploaded. And there's like a visor that goes over the head. And you see green lights in the visor. And then new memories are switched around. Mm-hmm. So, they could theoretically install these trip seats into public schools, and children could just spend 2 hours in one and download a PhD. So we can make teachers obsolete. Although I think that that might be technology. I don't know. We might have to wait 100 years before the government will release something like that to the public.
Oh yeah.
But this technology does exist. Instant education.
Oh, yeah,
machines.
like you mean in they have in Matrix they have connected in the computer there. Yeah.
There's a parallel timeline. I think it might be with the Monarch Corp. The AI took over.
You mean Project Monarch?
It was an actual corporation that took everything over. It's a parallel reality. It's not like I don't know if there's a Monarch Corp, and there probably is. I think there is, but it's nothing. It's just a fragment of what the other one is. But in this other parallel reality, the AI actually did do that to create those power generators, capture people, and put them in pods. They're actually aliens. They weren't people. Mm. But anyway. So different missions, like, there was one mission where I was sent to in a cold climate. Here's my book. This was, before you start laughing, this was actually Tommy Wise. I was doing some work with him, regression work. At that time, I was doing regression work anyway. And he said, "Oh, you had this. You look like this, and you wore this vest." And of course, the gun. I'd probably get rid of the guns, but you had this hairdo like that. This was probably a clone body. But generally, I think the avatar, at least one of them is 5'11", so I don't know what that is in centimeters for.
What I talked about before, that a super soldier, they should look in my mind. I figure they look more like that picture you showed me there. Yeah. Generally speaking, I'm about 5'11". But there are other avatar bodies. Like one describes me being a cyborg, 6'5" or something like that. Silvery suit, glass plate on my head, left eye, heat seeking. So that's So this is like that. And then of course right eye normal, and then I also have a little wrist device that shows where all the friendlies and all the enemies are on the battlefield. And I think I did show some of the weapons. Like here's some MyLab weapons. Here's a symbol.
they like to, for whatever reason, they use this symbol. At least some of the groups, because it appears I'm an alpha, which means I'm interchangeable, even though I'm technically delta, which is a division within the Army. Because I'm an alpha, I can be exchanged with other groups, Air Force, Marines, Navy, or probably off-world, whatever groups those are. I think that this is probably the off-world group. They have this symbol, the circle and the triangle. That's the Galactic Confederation. Just like American government, a lot of governments around the world have their own secret intelligence organizations. It appears the ETs have the same thing too, even though this is a benevolent organization group, the Galactic Confederation. Make sure I said that. The Galactic Confederation, because there's another one. I think it's the Intergalactic Confederation. That group is like the other group's like Ashtar, and that Sananda and them, but the Galactic Confederation is different, but still pretty large group of worlds. I don't know how many beings are involved, but they have their own military group, and the point I was trying to get to is just like how the CIA, the NSA, you probably say Mossad, or it's other MI5, MI6, all these groups, they may have a legitimate purpose, but because there isn't oversight, there's secrecy, and they do a lot of nefarious things, it usually goes bad, and bad things happen. So they may be a benevolent ET organization. They still got a military that's in the secrecy, killing people.
This is shadow government you're meaning now?
Yeah, they have their own shadow. It's the shadow government. So they got their own. It's a mess for them too. So they're in the same boat as us, and that's why we can't. We'll say, why don't the ETs just rescue us and save us? Well, unfortunately, they're participating because the Alpha groups, the MyLabs, and the Army, they interchange with the Galactic Confederation, and they have liaisons. They go back and forth, trade technology, because these ET groups want to spy on our government to see what they're up to. So they participate, pretend like they're friends, or maybe they are. Ultimately, when you start participating, it's like that Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
But okay, I'm hoping I'm as accurate as possible, because it's a lot complex, because everybody's different. There's egos involved. People are here's a drawing. Clones. So some of these clones may look ET, like I described with the helmet on the plate, on the head plate there. This guy looks super juiced up.
Yeah.
So it may not just be one type of clone I'm interfacing with. Could be multiple types. Trip seats. Black, usually special ops. Here's another type of gun, weapon. So.
But you also have knowledge about reptilians.
Yeah, reptilian. It looks like some energy pulse comes out of it. Oh, here's a knife.
It looks like a light sword, like Star Wars.
Could be. I don't really know what that is. But this is there's that symbol, then the circle and the triangle and the alien symbols. This is probably a reptilian knife. These are some of the symbols used.
Now we suddenly come to reptilians.
Yeah, well, that's a Drac.
That was fitting.
That's Drac.
All right.
Well, it's close. I mean, he's reptilian. It's a reptile, and
that was very fitting. Yeah.
Here's a typical uniform they would wear as a super soldier. Something like, of course, this is more Earth-based. Obviously, the different groups. Some missions are off-world. Somebody was some needles were under their fingernails. This isn't from me, but trip seat. This was drawn by Alex Diaz. He was AKA Bloodstreak because he was known to use blunt weapons. He was on my team. His number was dog tag 54361 if I'm not mistaken, and I'm 54363. Gen 5 Unit 4363. Most of the Gen 5s went through hell. They really treated us horribly. So yeah, to answer your question, I should probably be a lot more unstable. But I do a lot of stuff, meditation. I try to make do, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't recall. Maybe the benevolent ETs want to make sure I can still function. I wouldn't be able to function if I was a total mess.
No, that's true.
Missions.
But I read about a new book, I think, about booby traps. That people that are in control of you can tell stuff to you, and then you just fall down.
Yeah, I've got my activation code. I'm not telling you what it is, but
yeah.
It starts with the letter A. So, and I have a stand down code. There might be some kind of tones, like if you read. Let's see where. Oh, here it is. Trigger tone. C flat of the sonar projection sequence Ortego Mono Estrel. Hopefully I said that right. I don't know what that means.
Would your activation code work if you are recording it and playing it up for yourself? What would happen then?
I was told not to say it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, though.
Yeah, I can read it, but I can't. If I would, yeah.
Oh, even if you say it aloud for yourself, then would you?
Yeah, I probably.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what would happen.
Yeah. Sounds like
I would almost be hesitant to even ask you to try. I don't know. I'm worried that I may not be able to change back.
Yeah.
I may have to send a team in. May have to send the Men in Black in to erase your memories and delete this interview and delete all memories that you even talked to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen, but let's just play it safe and just stay within what we can right now.
Exactly. What would you say is the biggest conspiracy in the world?
Oh. What's coming to mind is the secret financial system that literally there's quadrillions of dollars of wealth that is being funneled out of the real economy, where you and I have to interface and work jobs and try to make a living. Enormous amounts of wealth is being sucked out of this economy and being dumped into this secretive off-world program, bases on Mars, underground bases on Earth, and of course bases on the moon, which I think a lot of them have been destroyed. So, enormous amounts of wealth has been spent to build all this up, to create this breakaway civilization for the elites of the world, and the people are suffering because we're all being drained. And the whole goal is for them to all escape, and then cataclysms happen, and we all die. That was the game plan.
Yeah.
But what's gone on is that the people on this timeline are more, I'm not going to say benevolent, they're more positive. There's less mind control. Despite all the things I just told you, there's less mind control on this timeline because there's less nanites. The chemtrails, even though they're pretty bad, they're laced with nanites. It's not, the people are not as infected. So the way manifestation works is through what gives you joy in life is the direction of what comes around you. So what gives you joy in life is being positive, being loving, being kind to others, living a life that's full of joy and happiness, where everybody can benefit and join in. Then you go into a parallel reality where you manifest more of that. Now, there's other parallel realities where, say, the Umbrella Corporation took over. That's there. That's if you've seen the Resident Evil movies, that's where the zombies came in. Then there's another one where the Anunnakis took over, even though they're still prevalent here. Is that the right word I'm thinking? And then, of course, I mentioned the Monarch Corporation with the AI and all that. So, and those other timelines, I am a full-blown super soldier. There is no James Rink light worker. So, and there's cataclysms. Those timelines all had cataclysms and massive amounts of death of humanity.
So, talking about how many timelines are there?
Well, there's an infinite amount of timelines, but I think the ones closest to what we consider Earth. I mean, there's like a timeline where Atlantis never fell into the ocean. You mean
everything that can happen is a new timeline?
Oh yeah. Just thinking about the timelines can change it. Yeah. But that's why you can create your own timeline. So that's why, like the Anunnakis, they keep trying to promote war and hatred and within the religions because they want the cataclysms to take place to have a culling of the planet. So a lot of these, these religions, these priests and rabbis and they talk about their holy books, and all they're doing is creating a parallel reality where they're going to manifest the cataclysms because that's what gives them joy. But some people don't want that, and hopefully, I mean, I don't want that. I'm pretty sure I think you don't want that either. And a lot of people listening probably don't want that.
No, but how come something doesn't happen to you when you're talking about this?
I think the disclosure on the super soldier stuff ended. I mean, the blackout on the disclosure ended about 2 years ago. But I think it just hasn't been put into the public sector. It's not like CNN or Fox News has interviewed me or anything. That may come someday. I don't know. I really don't care either way. I just like to see people stop being ugly to each other and live in a world where we can all get along without trying to control or brainwash someone. That would be nice. Or at least, if we have these mind control technologies, use them for positive reasons, instead of like shooting, if a policeman shows up at a door and finds somebody who has a gun, instead of shooting and killing them, use some kind of energy weapon to paralyze them and just disable them. There's technologies like that out there, but
you have good thoughts. That's good.
Yeah, we don't have to be. And war is obsolete. As we continue going to higher dimensional civilization, that's just going to pass away. However, there are still conflicts. Different ET species, don't get along. So there's probably always going to be need for soldiers and super soldiers. So this is not going to be going away. But hopefully it can be integrated into society and used for positive. And that's what I like to see happen. My goal, anyway.
Have someone online or when you've been, because you speak at you have speakings about this at gatherings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Have someone at this gathering or online gone angry at you?
Yeah, I've been gaslighted.
What is the worst thing that's happened to you because of what you've been saying?
Well, if you're asking me, have the MIB showed up my door? Maybe. I just don't recall it.
Yeah.
But I find a lot of my labs, other people who have been in the same predicament as me, a lot of them are extremely unstable. What I call term as broken goods. That one image I showed you, the trip seat, and I told you Alex Diaz drew it. I interviewed him in 2013, I think, and he since murdered his girlfriend and is sitting in prison for I don't know how many years, probably 15 years. But yeah, here's Alex's drawing. So it's quite tragic, and
Yeah.
what they do, and they're probably I'm sure they're still using him now he's in prison. They have full access to him and can control his environment. It's really sad.
Yeah, that's very sad.
And they programmed him to be violent. Alex had a lot of reptilian genetics, and people, the more reptilian DNA you have, the more aggression you have. So they were I'm sure they were amping that all up with the nanites. And and his girlfriend maybe said something ugly to him, and he just a switch flipped, and he just took on his altar and killed her.
Yeah.
And then probably switched back to the Alex that I knew, the one that I was friends with, and who knows, maybe he doesn't even recall killing her. I don't know, maybe something bled through. Who knows? I haven't talked to him since then, so. But here's see if I can show you.
Aren't you afraid that something similar to that is going to happen to you?
The part of the needle marks that I get, at least so I've been told, is from a group of tall grays. They have been injecting me with DNA to reduce my reptilian genetics, because allegedly my biological father was a Palladian reptilian halfling. I don't know who the mother would be, but so I guess that would be I'm a hybrid of some sort. A lot of reptilian starting off with, but they've been trying to mutate me, so they bring that down to reduce my aggression. But you understand, they could still plug me into avatars, so they can do whatever the heck they want to with the avatars. They can make it as aggressive as they want. But in this physical vessel, they don't want me to be aggressive. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. It's just as well, I guess I really don't need, I see what some my labs are like when they flip out, and it's really sad. But anyway. Okay. Well, did I answer all your questions?
Yeah, I just wonder what is religion to you?
What religion am I?
No, what is religion to you?
Well, I mean, the first word that comes to my mind is mind control, but I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm an atheist. I think people, a lot of these ascended masters come to Earth with a certain teaching, and then it gets twisted and distorted by the Anunnaki, and they send their agents and spies in there to write up the scriptures, the holy books, and make it into a religion, which in my opinion is just another cult. Yes. People get involved with it because they're trying to find some kind of, I guess, in this world, there's just so much chaos, and they're just trying to make sense of it. So maybe they think that'll help them find peace. But a false belief is a false belief. It doesn't matter if millions or billions of people believe in it. but look at it this way. Religion. Think of a child that has grown up, and as the child grows up, their shoes no longer fit them, and they need new shoes. So, as a society, we start to mature and realize we've been manipulated and lied to. These religions will just pass away, just like a child that doesn't need them anymore, or doesn't fit in them anymore. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
that's the thought. So what is the final thing then? What is your goal with your future?
Well, I have one website, Neological Tech. I would be very grateful if you go there and support me financially and meditate as well. I produce these meditation tools called Neo meditation devices to help you relax. So you'll get the benefit of helping your DNA relax so that you can reduce stress, and also begin to open up your abilities through your DNA. That's when you're stressed out, your DNA like twists and becomes really tight. So when you relax, the DNA opens up, and certain codons which were not expressing previously now start to express. And those codons could be more in creativity, intelligence, intuition. So yeah, this is a great tool. And also you'll be helping me out as well, and I would appreciate that. But my other goal is with the prosperity programs, if we could ever get funded through like the Dragon families. I want to create like one is a Pantasia wellness theme park was my goal.
That sounds interesting.
It's a biodome garden that has a tropical island. So this is in Berlin. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Tropical Island Resort, 16 acres. It's a giant
Never heard of it.
airship hangar. They converted
this is in there.
It's 16 acres. It's this giant biodome in Berlin.
Oh.
Yeah. So they converted it into like a tropical theme park, water park that's open year round. So you can. It's 78 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. It's nice. It's like Hawaii or some tropical island.
But you mean this is up in the air?
Yeah, this has been in business since, let's say, they opened up in 2006, 2005. This right here is the Eden Project in the Cornwall. But this is you can go to my website and read this. So the goal was to maybe build it, perhaps in Mount Shasta was one idea, but maybe 100 or 200 acre biodome, which is absolutely massive. But we'll put wall screens around the perimeter of it, put a tropical, there'll be a beach, water, and the water will be enhanced with technologies that increase or increase your lifespan. We can help relax your DNA, open up your psychic abilities. We can do a lot of things with water, with programming it. There's science and studies that go that shows there is things that we could do with that. And we could put buildings and facilities in here for healing and wellness. My goal is to help people with PTSD, but we can help all sorts of walks of all sorts of people with issues. Holograms of fairies in the garden, and then there'll be different. Well, these are different themes. It could be multiple. I may have one biodome will be Avalon, one will be Mew. We maybe build a couple of these things around the world, so it's not just one all jammed in. And here's some more images. These are just things that I found over the years that kind of like what I envisioned, but
sounds like big plans, really interesting plans.
Yeah, so that one, that's going to be about probably at least $4 billion US dollar. Then the idea was to build a wellness city around it where we can create a bank. The city will own a bank that will fractionally lend out more money than they have at 0% interest. The banks do that anyway, but they charge us interest, and that's the problem. So we do 0% interest, and the bank will provide anyone who's an entrepreneur who has a great idea funding to set up a business. And the bank will own about maybe 49% of your business. I say maybe, roughly. So you still own most of your company, and you'll have money. It could be 100,000 USD, or it could be 10 million, or maybe more, depending your qualifications. And then you can come and set up shop And the goal is that the businesses become successful and they pay dividends back to the bank, and the bank will fund the city. So there will be no taxes. The dividends from all the businesses will not only fund the city government, it would also some money be left over to give the poor. Well, everybody in the city will get a dividend check, so we can eliminate poverty. So that way we can get rid of accountants. We can get rid of tax collectors, because we won't need any of that. Businesses, government, people, everybody will work together. And this,
you cannot trying to start your own country.
well, I even thought about that, but I'm going to have to be a little bit more connected.
Yeah.
But hyperloops, all that could be. We could fund that with the amount. If we could get rid of interest on money, there would be so much abundance and prosperity. There would be no poverty. We could live in cities like this. Well, maybe people don't want to live in a city like that. Maybe it looks a little scary, but or whatever,
some
maybe like
would,
that, or whatever makes you happy. And hyperloops, trains that go 700 miles an hour, which is 1287 kph. Oh, that's average. Okay, up to speeds. Okay, averaging 933. Okay, well, still that's pretty fast.
Yeah.
A lot faster than maglev's. So we could build networks of this, bring people together for this is a hotel idea I had for healing PTSD. Another healing city. This one is a dolphin hotel, where we would send a boat out into a super pod of dolphins, have the dolphins come on board the boat and take it to the hotel, where people can swim with wild dolphins at the hotel, and at the end of the day bring the dolphins back. So that way there's no animals kept in captivity, and people can get healing from PTSD, autism, ADHD, as well as birthing centers to enhance IQ of newborn infants. So I'm gonna need a couple billion for that too. But
you have many thoughts.
We can build the Biodome theme park on the moon. Why should we limit to just planet Earth? There's no reason why we should limit to that. So here's Perry Crater. This is on the polar regions. So the sun, if you look at this right here, this red shows that the illumination. So these white areas are illuminated by the sun 24/7, because there's no like on planet Earth, we know we have spring and the seasons.
Yeah.
Between summer and winter and so on. On the moon, there isn't any seasons like that. Well, there might be, but it's not even an issue. So this stays in the sun 100% of the time. So we could build a biodome over one of these craters, build a mirror for the sun, and just this whole area just stays illuminated. And this is a kilometer, 15 kilometer, or probably about 5 kilometers wide. But it's not too terribly big. But it'll be a nice little vacation spot if you have the money, I guess. But
yeah.
maybe the technologies will make that affordable in the future too. But I suspect there's probably already aliens up here anyway on this crater. But
maybe we can share some space there. I saw somewhere some scientists were having thoughts about building this dome out in space, where they grow stuff inside there. They grow new with solar energy that they have.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. They have thoughts about that.
Oh sure, certainly you could use hydroponics. They could integrate robotics into it. They could probably use some kind of scalar technology to enhance the plant growth, or even maybe some kind of time dilation field, making time pass by a lot quicker inside the greenhouse. So the plants grow. I mean, literally,
a giant
grow every day.
greenhouse out in space. That's what they want to do.
Okay, so there's really no limits to human creativity if we can just get off of this current system of this monetary system, which is so oppressive, and the Anunnakis that control this world. Who, if we could just put away with all this stuff, and also it's Henry Kissinger. He's the one who controls the space program right now. So yeah, he's basically the Wizard of Oz running everything. So if we could just get rid of these folks, we could have a beautiful, wonderful world. But until now, I guess all we can do is just talk about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, is that did I cover everything that you wanted to know? Hopefully.
Yeah, I think there is a lot more to talk about, but we you have told us really much. So thank you for that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sonny.
And I wish you a very good future.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't. And I hope it doesn't get activated.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on my integration process. I think the key is in my file. It says I did a lot of bad things. Not because I was a bad person, but because the information that was given to me was either withheld or was purposely altered or changed to, hide something. So I had to make decisions while as a super soldier, and it may not have been the best ones. But I'm hoping that we can put aside the past and move forward to a positive future.
Yeah.
That's my goal anyway. All right.
Thanks so much.
And visit my website, supersoldiertalk.com. The other one is neologicaltech.com, NEOLOGICALTECH. And the last one is healingsoulsurvivors.org.
Nice.
.org.
I will write them under the video too.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.